Welcome everybody back to the channel, back to Madden 26, another rebuild here, and we're going to be doing the Cleveland Browns this time. The Browns, 2-7, not a very good team, sold their future for one Diddy Deshaun Watson, and, I mean, look, Dylan Gabriel probably doesn't have that high of a ceiling, but in this rebuild, the goal is to try to build this team into a Super Bowl contender with Dylan Gabriel. That's the goal. That's kind of the challenge, that a little twist here. We cannot draft another quarterback. We are locked in. We are all in on Dylan Gabriel. That's who we're building this thing around. Shadur Sanders, I think also really similar, not a high ceiling player. I think maybe he has a lower floor than Dylan Gabriel. Gabriel probably has a higher floor. I think they both probably have like the same kind of ceiling. I think that's I feel like most people would agree with that. Offensive line is whatever, this is not a very good team, some older guys, so we're going to have to probably get some youth on this offensive line for the future. That's just, these guys are all in their 30s, so we're going to be building up this offensive line again, and it feels like they had already built this thing, and now it feels like they have to rebuild it. So again, a lot of just old guys on this offensive line. So, defensively, you have a meal ticket in Myles Garrett. And, Myles Garrett, great player, but he is going to get older. And the trade deadline already passed, but I think this is a player that we are probably going to trade. So we're going to get through this offseason. We're going to get through the rest of this season, then get the offseason, and then we're going to start really building this team up. So, end of season, we went 6-11. We got some upgrades here for Dylan Gabriel. And Dylan Gabriel, that throw power is an 84. I have yet to see anyone actually get a throw power upgrade. I don't think I've gotten one all of Madden 26. So we're going to try for strong arm here. We're going to see if we can get a throw power upgrade or two. I just don't think that's going to happen, honestly. I have not seen a throw power upgrade. Here's another one. Let's see if we get one finally. And the answer to that question is going to be no. No throw power upgrade, despite us using 3 points. I feel like that's a really hard one to get, so I don't know. I think they've tuned that to just kind of not be something you get a lot of. I didn't mention Quinshon Judkins, who looks like an absolute stud. So hopefully everything's good with him. No more allegedly beating women. Am I getting that mixed up with another player? I would feel really bad if I ended up getting that mixed up. Yes, he was arrested for domestic violence allegations. Didn't face any charges. I believe the charges were dismissed, but did have domestic violence allegations. Was arrested. Cops at the time felt it was enough to arrest him, put him in handcuffs, but who knows? Who knows? Also, Carson Schweschinger. I hope I said that name right, but so there's some young pieces here on this Browns team. Just the question is, are these guys, can you get the quarterback right? And I might be handicapping us already by committing to Dylan Gabriel. That's a total thing that could happen here. You also have Mason Graham on this team as well, who I believe on Red Zone I saw made some pretty nice plays actually against the Jets. Special teams was kind of the issue in that game. So hopefully Mason Graham can progress for us pretty well. And so going to upgrade all those players. Let's go take a look at the stats real quick. And let's see where we finished with a better record than the Bengals. So Dylan Gabriel, 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. That seems about right. Quinshon Judkins, 824 yards, almost got to 1,000. Would have liked to seen him do that. And Jerry Jeudy, 1,000 yards. David Njoku, Shamari Thrash, Malachi Corley, Harold Fannin Jr. I mean, the Browns were a team, man. And then defensively, I'm going to assume Myles Garrett had a great season. He always does. But Myles Garrett is going to have to go somewhere else. And we're going to try to get some picks for him, try to get a bunch of, try to get some assets back for Myles Garrett and kind of get this Browns team into a new era of Browns football that includes winning. I talked about this team having an old offensive line and old players. Well, we had 2 of our offensive line retire, and so did Shelby Harris. So, yay. So, we come to player re-signing David Njoku, free agent. We're going to let him walk. I'm really surprised that the Browns didn't trade him. I can't imagine they're going to bring him back. He is 30. Martin Emerson Jr., we're going to try to bring back if we can get him some more money, maybe an extra $1 million. How about that? And he's willing to come back. $1 million. That's still money. That's still money. Tevin Jenkins, we'll try to keep around. I don't have to go around and pay offensive linemen in free agency. He's just not interested in signing. So that's a little disappointing. Wyatt Teller, we'll try to bring back. A little pricey, but kind of just a 1-year thing. He's just not that interested in signing. So we might have to get worse next year to get better. A lot of these guys just don't want to come back. Ronnie Hickman, we're going to try to keep around here. Maybe an extra $1 million. He can't wait to play next year. That rocks. So, I think everyone else, we're just going to let the rest of these guys walk. I think that's what we're going to have to do. There's no one here that I'm interested in really bringing back. Let's see. I bet you our kicker and punter are free agents. Yeah. Why are the kickers and punters always free agents? Every team I've done a rebuild with, the kicker and punter are on 1-year deals. Is every kicker and punter just on a 1-year deal? I always hand them like a 4-year deal just so I don't have to deal with, you're going to test out free agent. You're a punter. Okay. We're not going to franchise tag him. And the kicker, because I don't really care about kickers. Like, here, take a 4-year deal. Take some money. Okay, well, they all want to go in free agency, so this sucks. Okay, so Myles Garrett is on his way to Philadelphia. I have no idea if the Eagles would actually do this deal in real life. I don't know how aggressive they would get to try to keep their Super Bowl window open, but Myles Garrett, and for 2 first-round picks, I think you get Myles Garrett for the next 2 to 3 years of his career. That's a shot at, I think you add a player like that to that defense, which is already good, and I think you almost should make yourself a shoo-in to get the NFC Championship game at the very least, and what happens from there, I don't know, but Myles Garrett on his way to the Eagles for 2 first-round picks. So we are going to trade Denzel Ward. This is a complete fire sale here. I feel like the Browns should have actually did this. Should have just kind of said, hey, you know what? Just get these good players out of here. Rebuild this thing up. Peter Skoronski, 81 overall, left guard. We need some more offensive line help. So we are going to do that trade. Denzel Ward on his way to Tennessee. And then another player that I'm going to look to trade is Jerry Jeudy. I'm not a Jerry Jeudy guy. I think he's kind of just a mid player. And if we can get anything for him that's like decent, I am game. And, Jerry Jeudy, we're going to look around here. If I can't find anything that I want, I'll just hold on to him. But if I can find something that I like and, I did see something, but I want to see what all these offers are. I don't really care about realism at this point, so don't worry about that. Say, hey, this isn't realistic. That's not the point here, baby. It's not the point. Talias Fuaga, I hope I said that right. I'm going to do that trade. We're going to get some offensive line help, and I think we've already now kind of done that. That's kind of was what I wanted to do. I wanted to fix this offensive line up a little bit, and I think we've done that. Now, did we get worse at corner? Yes, we did get worse at corner, but we get a starting right tackle. We get a starting left guard. We still have Jack Conklin here, who will be here for a year, so I'm not in a big rush to go out there and maybe get anyone else. But we're gonna have to go out and find at the very least a center. Zach Zinter, we're gonna roll with that right guard, but we gotta go get a center and maybe some wide receivers. I just traded all of them, and a tight end, and so that's what we're gonna go and do in free agency. Oh, okay, so first signings that we have made here in free agency, it's Corey Bajorquez, brought him back as a punter. Did sign Jalen Watson, signed Cam Little, Cade Mays as kind of a stopgap center, Jack Tones, I'm not sure, tight end, kind of just a spare tight end to play behind what we already got in Harold Fannin, and then we signed Kai Blue Kelly as well. So I'm going to try to see what else we can do in free agency, and then I'll kind of keep you informed on that. Added 2 receivers. We're going to add Tyquan Thornton and Jahan Dotson. Nothing too crazy. I don't expect these guys to be like, big time contributors or anything like that, but this is the free agency class that we're going to bring in. It's kind of what we could bring in. So we are going to, I think, be done with free agency. And now let's go see what we have to do in the draft. So we are in the draft. I'm fascinated to see what happens here. We're going to pause this. I'm interested to see if the Bengals take a quarterback, because this game is really dumb. And they don't. They take Peter Woods. The Jets should take a quarterback, and they don't. They take TJ Parker. So my guess is Justin Fields is still rated way too highly in this game. And the Saints, they take a quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. Despite how good Tyler Shuck looked against the Panthers, I feel like that you still have to take a quarterback if you're the Saints there at 3. And the Raiders, they take a corner. I don't think they're in position to do that, but the Cardinals, they take Dante Moore. They're moving off of Kyler Murray. Caleb Downs goes to the Texans. I think the Texans will be very happy with that. And the Titans are going to take Reuben Bain Jr. Advance to the next pick. And Jordan Tyson goes off the board here. So what are we going to do here at this pick number 9? And could we go quarterback? I don't think we are going to go quarterback. I think if you're this Browns team and you have a quarterback on the roster that you feel pretty good about, that you feel this is who you're going to build around, well, then you're probably going to go out and grab a receiver. And that receiver is going to be Carnell Tate. We did draft him before in a rebuild that we previously did, but Carnell Tate, we're going to keep him in state, and he is going to be the pick here. If Jordan Tyson was on the board, that's who we would have went with, but it's going to be Carnell Tate with this pick. And we are now going to skip ahead in the draft to our next pick, which we have 2 in this round. Actually, no, we have 3. Where the hell did the Browns get an additional first-round pick from? I'm blanking. Either way, well, we have it. So let's make our selection here. What do we want to do here? Because, we can still kind of do whatever we want. And, I'm not sure what I want to go with right here. There's a lot of really good players in this draft. I think really good. We could go offensive line, but I just don't think this is a draft where you're just looking to take one of these guys in the first round. So we need edge help after I traded away one of our edge players for some picks. Traded away Myles Garrett. So we do need some more edge players, and I guess it's going to be David Bailey out of Texas potentially. We looked at some of these other guys, and they don't look as good. This guy doesn't look very good, honestly. His moves aren't good. His block shedding isn't very good. Play rack B. I mean, this guy does have good block shedding. LT Overton. So we could take a shot on him, but David Bailey has kind of what we want, and he has elite acceleration, elite agility, elite change of direction, elite jumping, great speed, decent strength. David Bailey is going to be the pick, I'm going to skip that. I don't need to. He's numbered 41 in true value. Does not have hidden dev. Is a normal dev player, so maybe that was the wrong pick. I don't know. But we're going to skip ahead in the draft again, and we're going to see what we want to do with this next pick. And that center, who I maybe thought about, comes off the board. And again, could still go with another edge player. We could go with Arvel Reese, but we've already keep him in. I feel like it would be really bad form for me to keep drafting Arvel Reese. Honestly, I feel like that's almost cheating. I feel like that's kind of cheesy, but we could go out here and get another defensive tackle. Solid strength. Doesn't look all that great, actually, if I'm being 100% honest, but he does have A block shedding. It's just the physicals don't look good with him. We're going to draft another receiver, and that's going to be Makai Lemon, who I actually think in real life is going to be really good. We're going to go with Makai Lemon. I think his catch and traffic should be higher than that, but we draft him at number 25. He also has hidden dev. Makai Lemon, I think, looks really good. Plays bigger than what he is at 5'11". I was watching him play, and I thought he was like 6'2", 6'3". It's only 5'11". So Makai Lemon, going to be that last pick of the first round for us. So we are here back in the draft, second round. We are going to take Jair Hill here in the second round. Need some younger corners. We did draft. I mean, we traded away our best corner, but I felt like we kind of had to do that just to get more picks. And he doesn't have hidden dev, but he does have good speed and other things, so maybe that'll work out. I don't know. I'm going to let the CPU handle the rest of the draft, though. I said I didn't want to keep drafting Arvel Reese, but he's still here in the second round. I just have to do it. I just have to take him. I got to take him. Sorry. He's still here in the second round. We're going to take him. Hidden dev. He's still here. I know we'll find a spot for him to play. Just, I have to do it. Sorry. All right. So draft recap, Carnell Tate, a 77 overall. I think that's a great pick. There's no one way around it. David Bailey, 74 overall. Not too bad, honestly. Needs to become more, I think, of an all-around player, so hopefully we can build him up into that. Wearing 95, feels a little disrespectful. Makai Lemon, 76 overall, hidden dev as well, so I think we went out and got some pretty good wide receivers. I think trading away Jerry Jeudy was the right move. And then Jair Hill, a 73 overall, Arvel Reese, 73. And then the last pick I made, despite me saying that I was not going to make any more picks, I lied to you all. We picked up Caleb Tiernan, 70 overall. He might start just to get him on the field and get him developed. I feel like you have to deal with offensive linemen. But all in all, I think a pretty good draft. We had just a ton of picks, honestly. Just an insane amount of picks here. And this team needs them. I mean, this team needs to be, I think, just rebuilt. And especially since we avoided taking a quarterback, which means we're going to have to do all of this with Dylan Gabriel. So we have to get him a lot of help. And I think we went out and did that. So let me get through training camp, and I'll see you guys then before the start of the season. Oh, also, almost forgot something. Almost completely forgot this. We still can't release Deshaun Watson. 2 to 4 more weeks, and this piece of trash is getting cut. So it has come time to get the grapist, this disgusting motherfucker, this sick freak who should be behind bars, off this team. Get out of here, you freak. Okay, so for year 2 / kind of 1, but who knows. This is the roster. We are an 80 overall across the board. Dylan Gabriel is our starting quarterback, 75 overall. Then we got Carnell Tate. We got Makai Lemon here. Jahan Dotson. Tyquan Thornton. We have an offensive line that is looking really, really, really decent, I would say. Just okay, nothing crazy. You know, I think it's a slight upgrade from last season. It's a little bit younger. Not too, I think decently younger, actually. You know, so I think that's a positive for us. And then defensively, yes, we do not have we don't have, Myles Garrett anymore, but, there's some things to work with on this defense. Mike Hall Jr. is going to be our defensive tackle number 2. Look, I think there's a world where this team can be somewhat decent, honestly, this year. I don't know why not. It's not the best team, but I think the defense looks all right. Honestly, I mean, we're not great at the edge rusher position, but I think we're decent enough. We're decent at corner, I think, even with us trading away Denzel Ward. I think we're just decent there. So, I think Mekhi Lemon should have a big season. I think we should do pretty well for ourselves, if I'm being honest. So I will see you at the midseason mark. And actually, I will show you this for the draft class. I will import our local file. I have a couple draft classes, but we do have a 2027 draft class. I've mentioned this, I think my last readable was the first time I used the 2027 draft class. I can't remember exactly, but we do have a 2027 draft class, and it has Jeremiah Smith, Dylan Raiola, Julian Sayin, Dylan Stewart, who I think a lot of people are really excited for. You want picks in next year's draft. In real life, you don't want pick in the 2026 draft. You want picks in this 2027 draft, because there are just some insane players in here. The offensive line prospects are better. There's some great wide receiver prospects in this draft. There's some really good quarterback prospects that we expect to be in this draft. You got Ty Simpson, Julian Sayin, Dylan Raiola. You still have Arch Manning, who I think is really good. You got Jaden Maivia, who I think a lot of people are really high on. So, yeah. Granted, we won't be taking any of those quarterbacks because we're sticking out with Dylan Gabriel. Awesome. All right, so we're at the midseason mark, and we are 3-4. We'll take a look here at the stats, see how things are going. I mean, Dylan Gabriel playing okay. A lot of interceptions so far. Probably because his awareness rating still isn't particularly great. So that's probably causing a lot of interceptions in the sim. Almost 2,000 yards, though. Quinshawn Judkins, 248 yards through however many games, through 7 games. That's not particularly good. I don't like seeing that. But then Carnell Tate, 2 touchdowns, 448 yards. Mekhi Lemon playing pretty well. Tyquan Thornton playing well. Harold Fannin Jr. playing well. And Quinshawn Judkins making an impact in the passing game as well. So you like seeing that. And then defensively, how are we doing? We are doing all right. Honestly, 6 sacks for Isaiah McGuire, 6 sacks for David Bailey, 5.5 for Malik Collins, 3.5 for Mason Graham. And then you got some more sacks here for a couple of these other guys. And then in terms of interceptions, got a couple, honestly. So defense not playing too bad. We're 3-4. I have no clue if we're going to make the playoffs. I'm not counting on it. So I'll see at the end of this season. We'll see how we're doing then, though. So we go 6-11. Not, I think we went 6-11 last season. So not great. And we take a look here at our stats and awards. And Dylan Gabriel, played well-ish. I mean, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That's not going to get it done in terms of winning football games. That's just too many interceptions. Quinshawn Judkins, only 575 yards, 11 touchdowns, and yeah, that's not great. But then Mekhi Lemon, 1,400 yards. Carnell Tate. And then we got Tyquan Thornton played well. Harold Fannin played well. Quinshawn Judkins adds in 454 yards in receiving. And then defensively, and David Bailey, 12.5 sacks for a rookie. Not bad, honestly, from both of those guys. Mason Graham, 9.5 sacks. Malik Collins, 8.5 sacks. So, I want to say our defense played well. And yet, I think all the turnovers probably cost us, honestly. Let's go take a look at our schedule. I don't want our playoff schedule. Team schedule. Let's go take a look at our schedule. I don't care my preseason. Close games, turnovers. I mean, when you have that many turnovers, we lost a bunch of really close games, honestly. I mean, so yeah, losing close games, lots of turnovers, that doesn't help. So that's not great. So David Bailey ends up winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that comes with a development trait upgrade. I said that really weird, but he goes all the way up to Superstar Dev. So that pick absolutely hit because he played well. So I guess he is deserving of wearing the number 95. So take a quick look here at these yearly rewards. And yeah, so Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to David Bailey with the 12.5 sacks. So beats out TJ Parker, beats out Peter Woods, beats out Ruben Bain Jr. I mean, there's a lot of just really good rookies in the AFC, all these defensive rookies. So our guy ends up winning Rookie of the Year. So not too many players to re-sign. Grant Delpit did not want to re-sign with us, but we ended up franchise tagging him, wanted to keep him around for another year at least. Isaiah McGuire played pretty well for us, honestly. We might draft his replacement, but he doesn't want to come back. He doesn't want to come back. We're not going to force him to come back. Cedric Tillman, we're going to let walk. Malik Collins, we're going to let walk. DeJuan Jones, we're probably going to re-sign just in case we might need him. I don't know if we will need him, but you never know. Honestly, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And Luke Weipler, we will also re-sign. Never know when you might need these guys. Possibly, maybe, but that's gonna do it. That's gonna be it for re-signing. On to free agency. So free agency, kind of light despite having a ton of money. We did bring in Nick Herbig, stole him away from the Steelers. Again, I might still draft another edge player, but we don't necessarily have to because we signed Nick Herbig, so we can kind of still do whatever we want. I brought in Jordan Battle. Saw him on the free agency market. He's a little bit younger than Grant Delpit. Also brought in Michael Mayer, and we brought in this guy as well, defensive tackle. Decided to bring him in. But Jordan Battle, that's really interesting because in my opinion, what that does for us is that kind of makes Grant Delpit a little bit expendable. And we tagged him, and I think if we're being honest, we can probably trade him, honestly. He's a little bit older than Jordan Battle, so honestly, why not go out here and trade him? Let's see if we can find a spot for him. We're not going to trade him in the NFC, but we're going to look around and see if we can find a spot to trade Grant Delpit. I don't think we'll get a first round pick or back for him or anything crazy like that, but I definitely think we could get some value. We'll just look at get offers real quick, and you know, I think we can find something we can get for him that could be interesting. Potentially, we'll look around here. Keanu Benton, that could be really interesting. Keep building up this, defensive line, but Kamara DK, young receiver, I'm going to take that deal. I could probably cheese the game and get like a first round pick for him, but I'm going to pick up another young receiver, which means we don't have to draft another receiver. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Make that trade. That's going to do it for free agency. I'll see you at the draft. So we are here in the draft. Let's go see what we can get. And again, we're not taking any quarterbacks because we are trying to build this thing up with what we have. We don't need any more receivers, even though they are somewhat tempting, I'm going to be honest, but honestly, could we use another right guard? I don't think we do necessarily. I think we're pretty good at guard. I can go take a quick look at our roster. Do we need another guard? And we do have Zach Zinter. He's just okay. This probably would be an upgrade if I'm being honest. And that could be the pick. But we do have Colin Simmons here. We did bring in Nick Herbig, but you could always use more. You could always use more pass rushers in the NFL. He does have A, finesse moves, B, power moves. So he looks, in terms of moves, looks pretty well-rounded. Colin Simmons out of Texas. We're going to take him. Maybe this is a good pick. Number 12 in true value, we got him at number 8, so he is pretty good. Has hidden dev, so Nick Herbig maybe thought he was going to get a starting job, but we just couldn't pass up on, I think, taking another kind of elite edge rusher. We're going to get to our next pick, which is pick number 16. I honestly really forget where the hell we got that from. I know that sounds really weird to kind of forget this sort of stuff, but I just kind of do. So we're good there. We're probably good at tackle. So we're sitting here. What else are we gonna do? I feel like I should just break my rule of we're gonna build this thing up around Dylan Gabriel. Even though I said that, it's kind of hard not to want to just go here and just take Arch Manning, and just kind of say screw it. We'll give Gabriel one more year but you know what? Screw it. I lied to all of you. We're going with Arch Manning. We're going to take Arch. We're going to go with Arch. We're going to reach and take Arch because I feel like this is the most Cleveland Browns thing to do of all time. We're going to reach. We're going to go with name value over common sense, potentially. We're going to bypass all those other quarterbacks, and we're going to go with Arch Manning. Back-to-back 6 and 11 years. That's not really what we want to see. So thanks, Dylan Gabriel, but we are going to be moving on from your services. So we have another pick to make right here, and let's go see what we can find in the second round of this draft. All these other guys are still just sitting here, which I think is kind of funny, honestly. But we take a look around here. What do we want to do? We took Ryan Wingo last time, so we're probably not going to do that this time. Running back, we're pretty good at running back. Honestly, we don't need another running back, so that's probably not going to happen. And we don't need any more receivers. We're good at tight end. Honestly, after bringing in Michael Mayer, but Trey-Dez Green doesn't have great strength, but everything else looks really fun, honestly. So we're going to go with Trey-Dez Green here, and he looks fun. 87 speed, 92 jumping, 89 acceleration. We're going to go Trey-Dez Green here. Will that work out? I have no idea, but we're going to sim to the end of the draft, and I'll catch up with you then. So we take a look here at our draft recap, and it's Colin Simmons and Arch Manning kind of leading the way here. Arch Manning only a 70 overall, but his throw power, the game doesn't want to show me that, his throw power is a 95, which is about 11 overall points higher than Dylan Gabriel. But Arch Manning does have a lot of work to do as a player to get to the point where we want him to start. So there's a good chance he sits for a year behind Dylan Gabriel, and then Dylan Gabriel will be, I don't know, traded away somewhere else. But Trey-Dez Green looks pretty good, honestly. This could be a pretty fun player. Still have a lot of work to do before he really, I would say, makes an impact, but we have two other experienced tight ends ahead of him, so not something we have to worry about just yet. Colin Simmons looks really good for a rookie, so I think we go out here now and we get another premium pass rusher for this team, and I think that'll just really help the defense. I mean, we go out and we get even better at getting after the quarterback. So all in all, I think we had a pretty good draft, and let's see what awaits for season 3. All right, so this is going to be the team for year 3, I believe. Technically 2. But this is the team. Dylan Gabriel, an 81 overall. Arch Manning, 75 overall after some upgrades. Shadur is still here. Offense looks okay, honestly. I mean, the offense wasn't like our big issue. We do have an 85 overall offense, 83 overall defense, 84 overall entirely. Defense, I think, looks pretty good. I think we're pretty good at both edge positions. Defensive line, good, not great. Corner room is good, not great. We don't have really, I think I would say, like a truly elite corner at all. But I think we're pretty good at safety. We're good at linebacker. So, yeah, I think we should do well. So I'll see you at the midseason mark. So midseason mark, We are 4-3 on the season. Let's go take a look at the stats. And Dillon Gabriel's actually playing pretty well. 17 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, almost 2,000 yards. Quinshon Judkins, I don't really understand why I can't get running backs to play well in the sim. I don't really get that, but Kamara DK playing well, Makai Lemon playing well, Carnell Tate playing well, Harold Fannin playing well. Offense playing pretty good. And defensively, we're getting to the quarterback, David Bailey, Nick Herbig playing well, Mason Graham, Tyson Campbell. I feel like we're not getting as much pressure as we got in previous seasons, so I'm not sure what that's all about. And it feels like our turnovers are kind of down, so I don't know. Feels like we're kind of not playing as well defensively, but we are 4-3 at the midseason mark. I'll check back in at the end of the season, see where we are. So we ended up making the playoffs at 11-6 wild card round, and we actually won the division. So hosting the Ravens, let's go take a quick look at the stats. How did things finish off? Dillon Gabriel, 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, almost 5,000 yards. Quinshon Judkins has yet to have a 1,000-yard rushing season. And receiving, Carnell Tate, 1,600 yards. Makai Lemon, pretty good. Kamara DK, pretty good season as well with us. I think that was a really good trade that we made. Harold Fannin, easily his best season he's had so far. And yeah, everything looks pretty nice here. And then we take a look here defensively. The things kind of get kicked in the gear a little bit. David Bailey, Nick Herbig leading the way right there. Mason Graham, Mike Hull Jr. with some sacks. And Ronnie Hickman and Jordan Battle, Tyson Campbell. And Colin Simmons, our rookie, kind of just did not play a lot this season. Nick Herbig kind of played in place, and then looks like we kind of turned things up on the turnovers eventually. Jair Hill with 4 interceptions. That's easily his best season so far in terms of getting interceptions. So pretty good stuff right here. I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm not going to play every single playoff game and get in there. We're going to simulate this first game with the wild card. We're going to see, do we beat the Ravens? Are we advancing onto the playoffs? And no, we got blown out 37-10. Our season ends and into the off season we go. And there's going to be some interesting decisions that are going to have to be made for this team, particularly at quarterback. I mean, look, Dillon Gabriel played really well, but I think we've probably topped out on what we can do with Dillon Gabriel. And it might be time to hand things over to this guy right here, Arch Manning. So before the start of free agency, Jack Conklin did retire from the team, which is fine because we're actually pretty decent at tackle. So we don't have to do anything too extreme to kind of make up for that. Probably got to find maybe some extra wide receivers, potentially. Not really. I think we're actually fine at receiver. We're good on the offensive line. Cade Mays, if we could find, I think, a replacement for him, I think that's something that we'll definitely look into. If there's an upgrade in the free agent market, I think we're going to go after that person. But if there's not, well, Joe Alt is here, so that's actually very interesting. Cooper DeJean. Actually, there are some interesting players here, but is there an upgrade at center? It's kind of, and there's really not, there's just not an upgrade at center. We're fine at left tackle. We're fine at right tackle. We're good at guard. I don't think we need to go out and make any really crazy moves. The only move I think that we could go out and make is, potentially bringing in Cooper DeJean. I mean, we're good at corner, but we are getting a little bit older there at that position with some of the other players on this team. So this kind of could be a situation where we kind of fortify our corner room and try to do that. We'll see if maybe we could bring in Cooper DeJean. Quinnen Williams at 30, a little too old. It feels very morbid to say. But just kind of, for Madden, it's just a little too old for me to really be bringing in. Not going to do it. Max Melton is here. And I would like to bring in Max Melton for some money, I'd like to bring him in around $7 million a year because, we're going to kind of not have some guys be around. So DeJean, right now, he likes the Patriots offer. We might have to really overpay to get him. I'm willing to do it because I like to have him. Let's see if does that work? Does that really doesn't jump us? He's not really interested in being a Cleveland Brown, so we're going to withdraw that offer. We're just not even going to make it. We're good at linebacker. We don't need to go out and do anything else at linebacker. We're fine there. So we're good at edge. You know, I feel like we're good at defensive tackle. I don't think we need anyone else, but, you know, I feel like why not just bring in one extra player, you know? And Chris Jenkins Jr., only 26. This might be a better offer just to have some more defensive tackles. I know we have Mike Hall Jr., but I feel like getting another defensive tackle could help. And right now we're the top offer, so we're going to evaluate here because this might be the only two signings that he goes to the Raiders. Jenkins hasn't signed yet. I would like him to sign. We'll take a look here at all of it. Max Melton, we do get to sign. Let's try one more time. And Chris Jenkins still hasn't signed. Let's see. Did he sign with us? He did. So we get Chris Jenkins Jr. That's going to do it for free agency. That's it. That's all I'm going to do, honestly. I might sign one extra wide receiver. Let's go take a look. You know, just one extra guy for us to have. There's nothing too interesting here that I personally like, honestly. There's just, you know, Calvin Austin. Bring him in. Kind of a wide receiver 4 or 5. That's kind of what we could do with that. So if he signs, he signs. If he doesn't, that's fine as well. Let's get into the draft. So we end up signing Calvin Austin as well. So should slot in as like our 4th or 5th receiver. Max Melton, Chris Jenkins. That's our free agency. Nothing too crazy. I feel like we just haven't had to do that. Let's go take a look at this mock draft. Kind of see what we're expected to do. And we're expected to take a left tackle, which we're not going to do. We're probably going to take a corner. And we might have to trade up to get a corner. Because we want a corner in this draft. And we might have to trade up to get one. I'm not sure who we want. Yeah, let's go take a look at some of these corner prospects. Kind of just see what's out there. Again, some of our corners starting to get a little bit older, potentially. One of the guys I kind of did like when I looked through here before was Dylan Bell, but that play rec is a D. And in terms of the corners, the only one that's really, I think, interesting is probably Jeremy Abbott. A, catching, A to C, man coverage, C, press, B, zone coverage. Ran a 4.38, 4.37, and, you know, his play rec is a B. So he kind of looks like the best corner in this class. But Jeremy Abbott, who I want, is expected to go, let's take a look here, I believe, to the Viking. Nope. Jeremy Abbott expected to go to the Jets. So if we want to get him, we're going to have to trade up. And we're going to have to get in front of the Jets, which could be tough. You know, that could be really hard for us to do. We might have to go take a look at some other corners when it's time to do some super scouting. So our super scouting is going to be these 3 corners: Jeremy Abbott, Dylan Bell, and Jose Hilliard. We're going to see if those guys are any good. Somewhat interested to kind of see what those guys look like once we get them fully scouted. That'll kind of determine what I'm going to do. You know, are we going to kind of make a trade? Are we going to try to move up, see if there's a way that we can jump in front of the Vikings, or potentially, or I don't know if it's the Vikings, but the Jets. So these are, I mean, Jeremy Abbott is a round 1 talent, but Dylan Bell and Jose Hilliard are both round 1 to 2 talents. So that kind of, you know, better tackling, better good hit power, decent block shedding actually here for this guy. Injury, stamina's better for Jose Hilliard. I mean, he looks just kind of good all around. We'll have to coach him up. Obviously, not as quick, but he kind of looks like, honestly, a very similar player to Jeremy Abbott. I mean, the man coverage, the coverage ratings for Jeremy Abbott are a lot better, but I just don't know if we can trade all the way up to, where are the Jets? Why am I missing the Jets? What's going on? So the Jets, they have Justin Higgins. So what's going on here? Do they have multiple picks? No. So Jeremy Abbott now projected to go 16. So it must have been a trade made, because I could have swore the Jets were around here. So I'm not sure what happened. Oh, this is mock draft 1. Okay. So here we go. This is what we need to look at. So yes, 11, Jeremy Abbott. I don't know if we can trade up to 11. I'm not sure if it's possible. We'll take a look at the Jets roster real quick. Let's see what their needs are. We'll try to make a trade. And go take a look at the Jets. What do the Jets need for us to make a trade with them? And what do they got at quarterback? They have the North Sellers, so that's not going to happen. So that's a little disappointing. Who has pick 10? I just looked at the draft, so I should know. Who do the Raiders got at quarterback? They have Daniel Jones and Drew Aller, so they're not going to make a trade. Is there a way for us to get all the way up there and make a deal? Because I don't know if we can. It's going to be really difficult for us to, I think, do this. Who has picked number 10? The Cardinals. Who do they got at quarterback? They have Dante Moore, so they're not going to move off him. The Chiefs. Cowboys at 10. Who's their quarterback? They still have Dak, who's age 35, so I don't think they're going to, they have 0 cap room as well, so I just don't think this is going to be possible for us. Jesus Christ. I don't think it's going to be possible for us to trade up, but what we are going to do, granted, the original point of this video was to build around Dillon Gabriel. We're handing things over to Arch Manning, so we are going to see if there's a trade we can make here. You know, Denzel Boston, Charvarius Ward. Let's see. David Stone, Nate Hobbs. Not interested in that. The Raiders, Marlon Humphrey, who just signed with the Saints, actually. And then the Vikings. Who do the Vikings got at quarterback? Is J.J. McCarthy not worked out enough where they're willing to make a trade? I'll make this trade. I don't really care. Let's go. We're going to get Jared McCoy. View his player card. He is a star dev player, so, but he has good man coverage, decent zone coverage, 85 play rec. He looks like a really good player. So maybe things are on the outs with him in Minnesota. Maybe they haven't had some success they've wanted over the past couple years. And maybe they think Dillon Gabriel could be the answer, and maybe they want to light a fire under J.J. McCarthy. So we're going to make this trade. Dillon Gabriel to the Vikings for a corner and some picks. So things are all for Arch Manning. We'll see what we do in the draft. All right, so we are here in the draft. We don't really need another wide receiver, but there's some good ones here, so we don't actually need to do that. At all. There's a tight end here named Eddie Guerrero. That's pretty cool if you're a wrestling fan. Take a look here at some of these defensive tackles, and yeah, nothing too interesting. You know me, I like drafting defensive tackles, but there is some guys that maybe we could take later in this draft if we want to. Any left tackles that we think look particularly good? I mean, The question is, are we, with Talias Huaga, he is an upcoming free agent. There's a chance he might not re-sign with us. So it might be smart for us to find another tackle just in case that happens. And Jonathan Lomadivar, I have no idea if I said that right. He has terrible strength, really poor strength, elite agility, but strength isn't very good for him. He is projected to go in the first round. Then we have Max Whitfield. What's his strength looking like? He has decent strength. And Enrique Esquivel. And he has elite strength. And I'm going to take him. We're going to take him. I thought I wasn't going to take a tackle in this draft, but we decided to take one. Who knows what's going to go on with Talias Fuaga? That could be an expensive contract. He should be coming up for us. And so why not maybe get a jump and potentially have a tackle waiting who could move to right tackle and play over there. So I said I wasn't going to take a tackle, then ended up taking a tackle. What do you know? Second round pick took another defensive tackle because why not? Manny Quinones was projected to be a UDFA, but he had a round 2 to 3 talent grade on him. We decided to take him in the second round. He was, again, ranked number 51 in true value, got him at 55, so he also has hidden dev. So when in doubt, draft a nose tackle in Madden 26. There you go. Took another receiver in the third round of the draft, Matthew Fusco, ranked number 91 in true value, drafted him at number 87. Doesn't have hidden dev, has very poor strength, but he has only 5'10", 184 pounds, 93 speed, 91 acceleration. Looks all right, honestly. He won't play much this year, but could be a developmental piece for us. So this is our draft recap. Enrique Esquivel, 78 overall, 75 awareness. His stats look really good. He's just not going to play this year. But hey, it is what it is. But then Manny Quinones, 73 overall as well, has pretty good strength as well at an 89. Then you got Fusco, who is a 70 overall. And then we took Mateo Gutierrez. I like taking tight ends and defensive tackles. 68 overall. We'll see how he develops. Only 83 speed. I don't think that's particularly great, but could be a guy that develops on our roster because we're probably not going to bring back Michael Mayer whenever his contract's up. So now we have another tight end to kind of slot in there. And then the rest of the draft was just guys who you'll probably never see. I mean, an 87 speed wide receiver, that's just... He's likely not going to make the roster, personally. But that's the draft. I think we did all right with our first few picks. Guys who, maybe aren't going to make an impact this year, but will probably make an impact the following season after this upcoming season. So one of our corners actually got their dev trade upgraded. I believe it was Jair Hill, who finally goes up to Superstar, which I am very happy about. We're actually going to go take a look at him right now. Have been doing these drills, have not gotten an upgrade for any of our guys yet, but yes, Jair Hill up to Superstar Dev, and he gets 2 extra skill points, so we're immediately going to put those into man coverage, because whenever I jump in for a play of the moments, I'll be playing mostly man coverage. So going up right here, and +2 man coverage, so he is now up to a 91 man coverage. So I suppose we can start focusing on zone. But Jair Hill has kind of become far and away our best corner. Tyson Campbell has kind of taken a little bit of a step back. We have some more upgrades right here for Arch Manning. I did change his face and number to 16, and we are going to go with Field General twice here for him. And decent upgrades right there for him. His first year starting for us, had a year to kind of be in the NFL, learn it. Now he's ready to go. And so Quinshawn Judkins, we're going to go again. More upgrades for him. His stats and overall are great. His numbers are not. So I don't understand why. his numbers have not been good in the sim. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I can't explain it. It's just one of those things, right, where his numbers are not great. But also, Colin Simmons going to get some upgrades as well. He is going to go up to an 85 overall here with that upgrade, and one more power rusher upgrade as well. And he's very close to getting yet another upgrade. So things looking pretty good here for Colin Simmons. This defense is looking pretty good right now, if I'm being honest. So gonna get through the rest of the camp, and then I'll see you then. So this is the team for year number 3, I believe, officially. I'm not going to count the first year as a year. So I believe technically this is year 3 of the rebuild. We are an 88 overall, 89 overall offense, 87 overall defense. I think our defense looks pretty good, honestly. I think we've built it up pretty nicely here. I think this is a pretty good defense. So I think we should perform pretty well here, honestly. I don't see why we wouldn't. But yeah, I mean, I'm expecting to make a somewhat deep playoff run, if I'm being kind of honest. At the very least, get to the AFC Championship game. That's the goal. I'll see you at the midseason mark, see how we're doing. So, midseason mark, we are 7-0, our first season with Arch Manning at the helm. And let's go take a look here at the stats and awards. How are we doing in Arch Manning? Having an absolutely sensational year to start off. 21 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, 2,200 yards. Quinshon Judkins, 350 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns on the season so far for him. And then Carnell Tate up to 688 yards. Makai Lemon doing things. Kamara DK playing well. Harrofan and Jr. playing well. So some pretty good stuff here for this offense. Pretty explosive offense, I would say. And we'll take a look here at what's going on with the defense. Colin Simmons, 9.5 sacks. David Bailey, 7 sacks on the season. Mason Graham with 4. JOK, Tyson Campbell, Nick Herbig with a sack as well. So we have a lot of depth at the kind of edge rusher position. And then our guys who can just get after the quarterback. And then Jermod McCoy with 2 interceptions, JOK with 1, Carson Sweshinger with 1, Jalen Watson with 1, and Jair Hill with an interception as well. So corners are playing well. Thank you, Minnesota Vikings. Actually, let's go see if Dylan Gabriel is even starting in Minnesota. I'm somewhat fascinated to see this. And no, they did trade him, but he has the quarterback of the future tag. Meanwhile, JJ McCarthy, 11 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So there might be some calls to kind of get Dylan Gabriel in the game there in Minnesota. So we're going to simulate to the playoffs. I feel like we're well on our way to making them, but I'll see you then. All right, so we did make the playoffs again at 12-5. Did we win the division? And we did win the division. 12-5 was good enough to win the division. We must have lost to either the Jets or the Chiefs at some point in the season, which is why we're not, the 1 seed with a bye. So let's go take a look here at the stats and awards to see how Arch Manning did. And he did absolutely amazing. 5,400 yards, 45 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the season. Rushing, Quinshon Judkins, 860 yards. It just seems like that's not, I don't know. It just feels like in sim, it's kind of tough to get your running back up to 1,000 yards receiving. What's not tough is to get your receivers up to almost 2,000 yards for Carnell Tate, 1,700 yards. Makai Lemon, 1,300 yards. Kamara DK, 1,100 yards. He has fit perfectly for us as wide receiver number 3. Judkins as well, adding in another 506 yards. Michael Mayer had a pretty decent year as tight end number 2, but really Carnell Tate and Makai Lemon, those guys have really worked out for us pretty well. And then defensively, let's take a look here at these sack numbers. 15.5 for Colin Simmons. David Bailey with 13. Mason Graham with 7.5. 15 TFLs as well for him. Mike Hall Jr. with some sacks. So everything looks pretty good right here. Honestly, we're able to get turnovers. You love seeing that sort of stuff. So forced fumbles, a ton of those, some good recoveries too. So defense played well. You love seeing that sort of stuff. And we have some upgrades that we're going to do here before we simulate this game versus the Chargers. I will jump in every game after the wild card round, but We're not going to jump into the wildcard round, so we have a ton of upgrades for Arch Manning, which makes a lot of sense because he had a great season. And of course, he would get a ton of upgrades, honestly. So we're going to go with Improviser for a couple of these as well. I'm going to kind of spread these around. I kind of like just seeing what happens when you spread things around a little bit here. And we're going to go with Improviser, I think, the next couple upgrades right here. And he is going to... Interesting to see what his final rating is. Getting that, throwing the run up, go with Field General again. So yeah, looking pretty good right now, up to a pretty good overall, an 88 overall, I believe, right now. And yeah, so looking great, up to an 89 now, and his ratings look great, honestly. So good ratings. I think we made the right decision to move off of Dylan Gabriel. Just kind of had to finally move off of him. I think he probably took us about as far as he was going to. And we are going to do a quick upgrade right there. And that is going to get our overall, still at an 88, 89 overall offense, 88 overall defense. Let's advance the week. Let's see if we can beat Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. And we do. We take them down, and our overall climbs up to a 90 overall, 92 overall offense, 89 overall defense. And we're going to take on the Patriots here in the next one. So play the moments. I'll see you for that. See how we do. All right. So play the moments overtime here. And we are going to attempt to stop him here. 4th and 18. This is one of those gotta have it situations. And we're gonna get after Drake May. That's gonna get picked off. It's Jair Hill picking that one off, running it back. He didn't need to run it back, but we end up getting the interception here. Jair Hill really seems like he's taking that kind of elite corner step right here. And that is going to seal it for us. We're gonna move on to the AFC Championship game. Drake May just had to get rid of it, had to make a play. It's 4th down. Threw that one into double coverage. We end up coming down with it, and we are moving on to the AFC Championship game after defeating the Patriots 17-10. Okay, AFC Championship game, and we are taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs here. Again, if you want to win Super Bowls, you want to win championships in the AFC, kind of seems like you're going to have to go through the Chiefs, and hopefully we can do that. I'll catch you in there on the flip side. Not the flip side, just, when we're almost done with play the moments, then I'll catch you. But we are better than them. 90 overall, 92 overall offense, 89. We actually have the same overall, but we're in green, so that means we're better, right? All right, so we are coming to the end of this game. And yeah, looks like they're going to go for it here. And we are just going to go into a prevent defense. Might as well. I mean, they're down 31-17, so not too much of a chance for them to win. But get a hit on Mahomes. Ball gets knocked in the air, and we are moving on to the Super Bowl. We defeat the Chiefs 31-17. And let's go see who we're playing in the Super Bowl. All right, we are taking on the New York Football Giants in the Super Bowl. Let's take a look at their roster real quick. I'm kind of fascinated to see what they got. I want to see if they not my roster. I want to see who they got at quarterback, because before we had an issue where they drafted, I believe, Fernando Mendoza, and they still keep drafting quarterbacks. I don't understand that. Jackson Dart, maybe he doesn't have the quarterback of the future tag in the first few years of these franchises, so they keep drafting quarterbacks that they really shouldn't be drafting. Jaden Maivia looks pretty good, but he's there in New York behind Jackson Dart. He's never going to play, so I don't understand that. But let's get into the Super Bowl, play the moments. You know how we do here. And it is a blowout here in the Super Bowl. We are just dominating the Giants, and we are going to win the Super Bowl here 42-7. Dominated them really from start to finish. So we win the Super Bowl with Arch Manning and the Cleveland Browns. So we have one more year to do here in this rebuild. So let's get into it. So we are in our re-signing period. Quidshawn Judkins does not want to re-sign with us. You're going to play with us another year, pal. We're going to franchise tag him. really, honestly, a kind of a cheap franchise tag. Talias Fuaga is a free agent. This is really interesting because I think we're ready to move on. He's an 86 overall, but we do have that guy that we drafted last year, Enrique Esquivel. I'm saying that right. So that was kind of the reason why I drafted him. Chimera DK did not want to resign. Ronnie Hickman did not want to resign. Tyson Campbell did not want to resign. We don't need Nick Herbig. Michael Mayer, we don't actually really need. We have Harold Fannin and Trey'Dez Green, who I think is ready to take over that tight end 2 role for us. So we're not actually going to resign him. Calvin Austin, we will bring back relatively cheap. But apart from that, we're going to have to find maybe a backup running back and, you know, another corner and probably another safety and probably one more receiver here because we're not bringing these guys back. So, yep, one last year, one final run here for this rebuild, and I'll see you in free agency. So free agency for us was bringing back Chimera DK. We're able to get him re-signed with us 4 years. You know, pretty nice deal for him. And then we ended up also signing RJ Harvey to be a backup running back. Caleb Ransaw and Billy Bowman Jr., both free agent signings. Those guys are both there. We got them relatively cheap. So we get some more youth actually on the defensive end. Let those guys walk and get a little bit younger, a little more athletic at some of those positions. So I think we did pretty good in free agency. On to the draft. All right, we are moving up in the draft all the way to number 15 with the Broncos. There's a player that I spotted that I think looks pretty good that I want to go and grab. And that player is Ty Whitfield, another corner out of Washington State. He's a top 5 true talent, and he looks pretty solid. Honestly, I would say pretty good, actually. Good speed, great jumping, great change of direction, acceleration, all of that stuff looks really good. I still want to operate this franchise as if, you know, I'm a GM and I still have multiple years left. I feel like this team's going to get expensive. Some of these players are going to have to go. So maybe one of those corners that we have may have to not be back on this roster one day. I don't know if we can keep them all. So you draft for the future. You draft and go out and find players that you think can kind of eventually replace those players, and you can let them walk in free agency. So Ty Whitfield, going to be the pick right here. And let's see, he is the number 5th, or he's ranked number 5 in True Value. We got him at 15. We came up, hidden dev, awesome athletic ratings. He also has really good just core attributes. So that's going to do it for the draft for us. I'm going to let the CPU handle the rest. We'll take a look at the recap after this. So we took Ty Whitfield first round. He is a 78 overall. Imagine how much better it'd be if he had a little higher awareness. But good speed, good acceleration, good agility. Strength is a 60. Change of direction is a 93. So we'll go through here and just kind of see if we can find some of these other ratings, kind of see what they look like. His play rec is an 83. That's like really good for a rookie, honestly. So this is like a really good player. I think this was a trade that we had to make. So again, he'll develop. We've shown that we can develop corners in our system. So I'm gonna get through the preseason and I'll show you the roster for the final year of this rebuild. So the final year of this rebuild, we are here. This is the final roster. It looks pretty decent, honestly. Offensive line, pretty good. I'm pretty excited to see how these guys play. This guy has he has a depth trait. But yeah, interesting to see how this team does. We still have Quinshon Judkins. We still have a pretty good wide receiver core. So defense still looks really good, honestly. It looks great. I think this is still an elite defense. And I think we've potentially have gotten even better despite the fact that we let some guys go. So I'm pretty excited about it. What's this? So Draymond Parsons has superstar X Factor, strong safety. That is absolutely insane. You know what? We're just going to let him start. If that's the case, I do not remember drafting this guy. So I think that's a situation where CPU drafted someone. He was at the end of roster, had a dev trade, and turns out that depth trait was Superstar X Factor. So I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. We still want Arvo Reese right here. So there we go. So we're going to see how this team does. No midseason check-in. We're just going to simulate to the end of the season, and I'll see you there. So we made the playoffs again at 17-0, 91 overall, 93 overall offense, 89 overall defense. Let's go take a quick look at our stats and awards. And Arch Manning, second year as a starter, 5,600 yards, 46 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season. Maybe the greatest NFL passing season ever. Quinshon Judkins finally gets a 1,000-yard rushing season in our final year of this rebuild. So I'm very happy to see that. Makai Lemon, 1,600 yards. Carnell Tate, 1,300, 1,000 for Kamara DK. Harold Fannin Jr. had a great season. Judkins, you can add in another basically 600 yards with him as a receiver. And so just awesome stuff here for all of those guys. And then defensively, Arvo Reese led the way in tackling with 121 and 16 sacks for Colin Simmons. Mason Graham with 11.5. David Bailey with 10. On and on. I mean, just a ton of guys getting half a sack at least. And then we take a look here at the interceptions. And Damon Parsons, that rookie that the CPU drafted for me, who turned out to be an X Factor, we started him. He had 3 interceptions. So our secondary got, I think, way better, actually. And then Ty Whitfield, the rookie, with 2 interceptions on the season as well. So, and Caleb Ransaw came in and played really well. So those guys who left, who didn't want to be here anymore, you missed out on being part of a great team. So we are going to simulate each of these games. We'll see if we make the Super Bowl. But yeah, we're going to simulate, and I'll catch you when we're maybe in the Super Bowl for when we lose. So we beat the Dolphins 42-38. Let's see if we can beat the Raiders, move on to the Super Bowl. And yes, we're going to skip ahead. Let's see if we can get there, advancing to the Super Bowl. Pro Bowl week goes by. We are there, and of course, in typical fashion, this plays out how it has to play out, I guess. We are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to go take a quick look at their roster. Do they still have Myles Garrett, or has he retired? I'm interested to see. And no, they still have Myles Garrett. They've won a Super Bowl with Myles Garrett. He's still a really good player. He's starting to regress a little bit, but still a really good team there, the Eagles, and we get to take them on here. So I'm going to go through the strategy. We'll do our final upgrades. We'll take one final look before we jump into the game, and we'll see how we're going to do. So final upgrades we're going to do here before we get into this Super Bowl. Arch Manning, 2 more upgrades. I believe he is up to Superstar X Factor. I'm going to assume he got that either from some great stats, or likely that he won an award, potentially Offensive Player of the Year. We'll take a look here at what that says. And yeah, Superstar X Factor Dev, from Quarterback of the Year, NFL Passer, Rating Leader, and MVP. So that gets him up to Superstar X Factor. So Makai Lemon, Carson Schwessinger, all of these guys, we're just going to go one big upgrade here. And that will bring us up. I think we're still at the same overall, but we're going to take on the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Let's see how we do when we get in there. So here we are in the Super Bowl, 28-7 right now. We are just going to let this thing ride, as I think we are pretty close to closing this thing out. And third down alert, we're just going to keep going here. And they're going to go for it on 4th down. So we're going to come in here, try to put a stop to this, see if we can close this thing out versus the Eagles. And that's going to be incomplete. Not sure what was happening with that football right there. It kind of bounced around a little bit, but that is going to be the Eagles' final shot at it. And there we go, back-to-back Super Bowls and a perfect 18-0 season. The Cleveland Browns, not only did they reach the mountaintop last season in this rebuild, they have also now conquered what they did last year, going a perfect 18-0, and we beat Myles Garrett in the Super Bowl. Arch Manning kind of takes his place as maybe the greatest Manning already, and he's probably still super really young. So Really awesome stuff right here. And there we go. So win the Super Bowl. Let's go take a look at the final stats, or not the final stats. Let's take a look at the final team. But we will take a look at these player stats, honestly. And Arch Manning, what more could you want? 21 of 30, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. Quinshon Judkins, not a whole lot. When you got Arch Manning out there throwing touchdowns to Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Kamara DK, what more do you actually need? All these guys had really big plays, and then defensively, we were able to get after. I mean, Mason Graham, David Bailey, and Arvell Reese. And so really what beat the Eagles in this Super Bowl was basically, and an interception for Damon Parsons. What beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl was basically everything they gave us for Myles Garrett. That did get them a Super Bowl. It took us a little bit of time to get there, but we finally did, and we look pretty dominant. So this is the final team here, and I think we built a pretty good offensive line. Honestly, some pieces will have to be replaced. Of course, Quinshon Judkins did play on a tag last season. We have some great receivers who are probably who are coming up to needing to be paid. Arch Manning is great. Offensive line, I think, came together. Wide receiver room came together. Quarterback came together. Linebackers all kind of came together. Some of these guys were already here, but then we added Arvell Reese as well, and that was kind of just like the cherry on top. Simmons and Bailey, both of them played very well. One of these guys, I believe, did not have a dev trait, played their way into a dev trait. We ended up with Ransaw because other guys didn't want to stick around. We still also have great depth in general at safety. We just somehow kept getting better. Mason Graham finally gets to X Factor. This defensive line is really good. Honestly, it's great. Probably the best defensive. We always build really good defensive lines here, I think. I think we've done a very good job of that. This corner room is pretty sick, honestly. Some of these guys getting a little bit older. Watson's getting older. But they're young guys here that will, keep growing if we were to keep going. But there's no need to keep going. We have rebuilt this team. We have built the Browns into a complete and total dominant powerhouse. So I am going to leave you here with that. I want to thank you guys for watching this rebuild. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below who you think I should rebuild next. What would you like to see me do? Maybe go back to rebuilds with just generated draft classes. I think we might do that. But yeah, just send me some more ideas on what you think I should do for rebuilds, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching.